Hello, Cooper Clever, 1972 here. Uh, so, no viewers yet, as I see. Um, let's before I talk about the books, let's talk about a few other things. First off, I guess I should address the fact that this stream is starting at 8:41 rather than right at 8 or right at 9. And I thought of starting it at 8. I had to charge the computer out to 100%, and it wasn't at 100%. I was watching the Jimmy Dore show. Oh, somebody's on now. Oh, hey, Nigor. Um, yeah, so I was going to be on at 8, and I was watching Jimmy Dore, and I think almost by that time it was. Oh, greetings to you as well, Nigor. Um, so 8 o'clock, and I had to just get set for this. So technically it's not exactly 8, and of course I said in my video 8 or 9, but I decided to start now, so we'll see what happens. I'm thinking the video will be about, I don't know, an hour long or so, perhaps, because that's usually what it is when I've done my videos. Since Neat Gore's here, I just want to say hi. Sorry that I just briefly entered your stream. I was watching Jimmy Dore like I usually do every Saturday, but I'm glad to see it. It's your first stream, I think you said, and looking forward to more of your streams. So, anyways, today's topic is books that I own, film books. Um, oh, thanks for the thumbs up too. I did last. Was it last? Yeah, it was last year. Maybe it was a year ago. For all I know, I did um, some of my boxes of books that I have up in my attic, and those weren't streaming videos. They were just regular videos that I taped with my computer, and well, not taped, but whatever. I recorded with my computer, and I think I'll just do them over again because I don't know if everybody's seen them. I'll just do them over again, I guess. I don't know exactly when I'll be um, taking those boxes, as I already showed a while back, and showing them again. But maybe I think I'm going to show them again. So, but anyways, I'm trying to see if more people come on here. It's just need Gore for now, I think. Let me start. So I got all these film books, and I've got so many books, and I haven't read them all. Probably, um, I have no idea if I'll be able to read them all. Just like my movies, I have like I don't know, 1,000 or a few thousand films. I have no idea how many movies I own. I must own at least 1,000. Who knows if I'm going to watch them all? And then, of course, there are films I own that I've seen before. Um, I don't know, but I like having the options of watching whatever you want whenever you want to. So, anyways, the first book is the complete book of script writing. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Benefits and drawbacks of screenwriting. That's what one of the chapters is headed. Another one is headed marketing the screenplay, the craft of screenwriting. I don't know too much about this, but anyways, here's another screenwriting book. And this book was written by J. Michael, I'm going to butcher the last name, Strednowski, creator of Babylon 5 and writer-producer of Murder, She Wrote. So some of these books, do I ever write horror scripts for hobby? I have written some scripts. Need Gore, there's a video I did on my channel. I wrote a treatment for this like action picture. It's not really a feature. It's like a short film, and I wrote a treatment, and then I what I did was I took my iMovie program from my Mac, and I took images from Google Images, and I put in sound effects, music, and voiceover narration, talk, talking about what's happening in the movie as you're watching it. It's still images, but it's like a photo storyboard, and I edit it together and put it on YouTube. It's called Cost of Love. It's on my channel. So that's like one script I wrote. I wrote a few feature scripts. I guess I haven't really written a horror movie. I wouldn't mind to write. I wouldn't mind writing one, but I haven't written one. So I don't know. I mean, I've been writing. Not writing. I've been playing with music a lot these days. Yeah. So I've worked on a few film sets. Mostly the same guy that I work for, who by the way did horror films, or still does horror films. But anyways, so this is a successful script writing by Jurgen Wolf and Carrie Cox, and feature film scripts, or outlines and treatments, three-dimensional characters, how to write situation comedies, how to create a new series. Some of these books might be a little dated, and that's what I mentioned in my previous stream last night. You know, that's like if you know, especially like technology wise. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Nigor. Let's see. This is another screenwriting book. It's called Lou Hunter's Screenwriting 434. The industry's premier teacher reveals the secrets of the successful screenplay. It's got a blurb by Richard Donner, director of Lethal Weapon, who also directed Superman. The final word on screenwriting. So. Oh, you wrote a slasher, huh? So, yeah, I have this. Says the outline for you and them. I guess it's the script that's profiled in the book. Building your characters, the Act 2 script, the Act 3 script. So, let's see, where should we go now? Let's see. Let me go with this one. I guess it's The Making the Exorcist. It must be. Bob McCabe, The Exorcist, Out of the Shadows, the full story of the film. I do have The Exorcist on DVD with a commentary by William Friedkin. I met him at Jacob Burns Film Center. He signed my Exorcist DVD. Maybe I should have talked to him, but I didn't. So, but anyways, I haven't read all these books. I don't know when I'm going to read them, but maybe one day I'll crack that open and read it. I work at a library, so when they get rid of books, you know, I can take them home with me. So this is, I guess John Boorman wrote this book, which he also directed the film of, The Emerald Forest Diary. So. Oh, I'd love to read your script if I could, but whatever. Let me know. I'm sort of holding out to see if more people come on. I'm not sure, but I'll just keep going. Psychology for Screenwriters: Building Conflict in Your Script by William Indick, PhD. This is a Michael Weiss book. Michael Weiss does filmmaking books. I know it says one viewer on here, and I'm not sure about this. I put my notice not just on YouTube for this video tonight, but I also put it on Facebook. So I have no idea if people from Facebook are watching, and it just doesn't count them is watching, but it should count them, I think. I think if anybody's watching, even if they don't have a channel, I think they would be counted. So I have no idea if more than one person is watching me. I just think maybe it's just need gore for all I know. But anyways, so psychology for screenwriters, the ego defense mechanism, normative conflict. Is that what it says? Yeah. Identity crisis and beyond, archetypes of character, archetypes of plot, the hero with 1,000 faces, the heroine's journey, the inferiority complex, sibling rivalry, lifestyles, existential conflict, archetypes for the age of narcissism. So I highly recommend these Michael Weiss books. Used to steal book. Oh yeah. I probably wouldn't buy any more books because, well, for one thing, bookstores are disappearing. Like Barnes and Noble is like one of the few places you can go to look at books. Of course, I work at the library, so you can look at books there as well. And I was showing my Hitchcock book last night, and I I saw it at I think I saw it at Borders. No longer, Borders is no longer in existence, and it was like $40, $50. I don't know. It was a lot of money, and I just bought it off of Amazon. It was very cheap. You can get them you can buy a book off of Amazon, and it could be a little damaged, and it's still perfectly fine to read. It's just a little bashed up. Though I think what my friends have said, it's they get you on the shipping charges a little, but yeah. So let's see what's next. This one we have is 101 Habits of Highly Successful Screenwriters by Carl Iglesias. Insider Secrets from Hollywood's Top Writers. So it's got a bunch of big names here. Akiva Goldsman, who wrote what's that movie called with Ron Howard? Beautiful Mind. He wrote that. I'm not a fan of Ron Howard, but I think he's kind of mediocre for most of his films, except for like Cocoon and Cinderella Man. I like those. But Eric Roth, maybe I don't know. I guess I'm confusing him with Tim Roth. I think maybe I don't know these people. Kiva Goldsman is the only one that stands out to me. I don't think I've heard of any of these other screenwriters. I think there is a screenwriting book I own that talks about various screenwriters that I'm aware of. It's got Portrait of a Screenwriter here, Commitment, The Creative Process, Writing Habit, The Management, Rewriting, What Makes a Great Script, The Hollywood System, Getting an Agent, Pitching. Of course, some of these things are sort of don't exist anymore. And in a certain way, you still have agents, but you have more film festivals are more accessible to more people. You have the internet to put your movies on. You have what's that other thing that I was thinking? Oh, workshops. So like if you can't afford college, or if you don't want to go to college and just want to, take a weekend workshop, or there's more than one ways. I think there's more than one way to enter the film business, and there's more than one way to learn how to make a film. And films are cheaper to make these days, and you can use your computer, and you can use, maybe I'll make a film with an iPhone or something. I do have an iPhone, but you can buy like a DSLR camera for fairly cheap amount of money. Of course, the thing is with me, I want to go to Japan, and that's incredibly expensive, and I don't make a lot of money, but it's steady money, and I just want to I don't know if anybody's here anymore. I um, I just want to go there and um, I've been wanting to go there, so who knows, So, anyways, I guess Need Gore's not here. If you are here, I don't know. Anyways, I'll just keep going on because I know this video is going to be shown again on my channel after I'm done with the video. So maybe some people will come on around right now. So, anyways, next book we have is Writing Screenplays That Sell by Michael Haig. I don't think I've read this. Again, it might be a little um, not relevant to today's climate of filmmaking. The goal of the screenwriter, story concept, character development, structure, writing individual scenes, analysis of the Karate Kid, marketing yourself as a screenwriter, the screenwriter's deal, the life of a screenwriter, frequently asked questions, Next up, I'm waiting for some people to show up. I'll just make time with other books for the time being. I'm just trying to choose which ones to show here. Oh, well, I should wait on that one as well. I'm trying to figure out what books to show while I'm waiting. Maybe that are not as interesting as some other ones. Okay, so I don't know when I got this one. Writing for Television by Steve M. Kaminsky. Of course, I think this is kind of outdated. Harlan Ellison gives some advice here. Gary Marshall. I think Gary Marshall passed away. He would direct Laverne and Shirley, and he's done. I think he directed Pretty Women, writing The Police Tale, writing comedy, writing for television movies and miniseries, writing the documentary, protecting your script, finding a market and an agent. Some of the stuff online probably might be better, but I bought this at the time, so the structure of the tale. So that's that. Let's see, what else do we have here that I can show you? This is, I think, the script of The Last Samurai. I don't know if there's more to it than that. I think there is here. Anyways, I'll just leaf through a little bit of it. This is with Tom Cruise. I think I said that this is one of Tom Cruise's worst films. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while. I own it, but that's because I'm into Japan, and I think that's why I own this. So maybe it's not a bad film, but I don't know if it's really that fantastic either. Probably better to watch. I did it. I think it was my last set of reviews. I did a review of some I did a review of Black Rain, which is set in Japan, directed by Ridley Scott, with Michael Douglas, Andy Garcia, and Kate Capshaw. Oh, and in the same video, I reviewed a Japanese movie. But I was saying in that video, like American films that are made in Japan kind of don't really get the essence of the Japanese culture. If you want to hear more about how I talk about that, just look up the last video I did of my weekly reviews of the films I've watched, and you'll see what I have to say about that. This is by Vicky King. It's called How to Write a Movie in 21 Days, the Inner Movie Method. It's got a little dirt on here. I don't know how that got there. Oh, one thing I should mention is that I showed, I guess CP is on right now. I showed a book last night called Screenwriting, Complete Idiot's Guide to Screenwriting. And in it, I think they mentioned, like, if you want to write a screenplay, just write like 3 pages per day, and you'll be done in like 3 months or something. Because the average screenplay, more or less, in a certain way, is like 120 pages. Each page is like a minute of screen time. Anyways, so this is how to write a movie in 21 days. So it's just showing you how you can write fast. Of course, in Hollywood, you have to like write fast, because you got to meet deadlines. Let's see, what else do we have here that I can show? Let's see. Trying to figure out exactly where and when to go next. How about we go here? Okay, so oh yeah, hi, yeah, Neat Gore's back. Okay, Tools of Screenwriting: A Writer's Guide to the Craft and Elements of a Screenplay. Founding director of the graduate screenwriting program at USC, David Howard and Edward Mabley. Introduction by Frank Daniel. Just more screenwriting books. Conflict: What makes a good story well told. Some movies mentioned here: E.T., Some Like It Hot, North by Northwest, 400 Blows, Citizen Kane, Witness, Streetcar Named Desire, Chinatown, Godfather, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Thelma and Louise, Diner, Rashomon, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Annie Hall, Hamlet. So, Screenwriting: Tricks of the Trade by William Frog. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Forward by Jeffrey Boehm. I can't remember Jeffrey Boehm what he wrote. I guess he's the screenwriter. There's the book right there. Thinking about the script, writing the script, selling the script. So I have a fair number of screenwriting books, as you can see. Let's see, what's the next thing I should show here? I'm trying to save some stuff if more viewers come on until later. I'll eventually show them anyways. Okay, so what can I show next? I guess I'll go with these first. Okay, so I took a screenwriting class in 2001 at the New School, and the teacher had us, we had to buy a book for the screenwriting class. It was called The Writer's Journey, Second Edition, Mythic Structure for Writers by Christopher Vogler, which I think is sort of a takeoff on, oh, no, it's not a takeoff. I think it references The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell, who was a mythologist. So it's just like detailing the process of of mythology, like accepting the challenge and the mentor and the hero and the archetypes. refusal of the call, crossing the first threshold, approach to the inmost cave ordeal, the road back, resurrection, return of the elixir. So it's kind of a journey, kind of a book, I guess you could say. Let's see, what's next? Okay, so, oh, somebody's back. I don't know if it's Neat Gore maybe, or anyways, this was a lot of, I guess, professors say you should have if you're going to be a writer. This is particularly angled towards screenwriters. It's Aristotle's Poetics and for screenwriters. So I know that Aaron Sorkin, who wrote The West Wing, and I'm not wild about The West Wing. I think it's too dialogue-driven show. I know he did the movie Steve Jobs, which I thought was too talky. There was a movie Jobs that came before that. Steve Jobs had Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs. The movie Jobs that came before that had Steve Jobs played by Ashton Kutcher. Now, I'm not a big fan of Ashton Kutcher, but I thought that was a better movie. And it was more expansive. It covered more of his life. So I think Steve Jobs is way overrated. Anyways, he there's those master class commercials, and one of the books, well, not one. He says you should be religious about Aristotle's Poetics. Aaron Sorkin says that. So yeah, so this was applied towards drama back in the ancient Greek days, but this is angled towards the screenwriter. So okay, so I guess I just gotta go with the flow. Anyways, let's see, because there's nobody on here. I don't know when or if any other people will come on or people will come back. I guess we'll just have to rely on the fact that people will watch this video after it's done. But this is a book by Ingmar Bergman. It's a script to Persona and Shame. Shame is one of my favorite films of all time. It's my favorite Bergman. It's unlike his other films because it's more. Hey, John Kyle Stanton. Hi. Shame is what makes it different? I don't know. It's less artsy. It's more narrative driven. It's very depressing, but then a lot of Bergman films are depressing. And then, of course, it's got Persona here. It's got some pictures that come with the screenplay. There's Shame right there. One of my favorite films of all time, which is out on Criterion now, which I plan on buying. I just got to wait for the flash sale. I don't know when they're going to show that. Going back to my screenwriting class at the New School, the teacher also told us to buy another book, and that book was a script of Robert Towne's Chinatown. The last detail, I'm not quite sure. I think that just came with the book. I think she wanted us to buy it in screenplay format, like a script, not like in a book. But I bought the book at the time because I didn't know that being the case. So anyways, that's Chinatown, last detail, just the scripts here. So next, we have the Star Wars screenplays, the original trilogy, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I think there's some notes here. Yeah, there's some notes that come with it, like Irvin Kershner, director of Empire Strikes Back, talking, I guess, about the film. Irvin Kershner, I think, was George Lucas's. Todd. Oh, hey, Todd. Irvin Kershner was George Lucas's film professor at, I think it was USC. Oh, hey, Horror Devil. How many viewers do I have? Well, it doesn't. This is one. Maybe more people are watching than I think there are, because it says one. I don't know. Anyways, um, Lucas asked him to direct Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. A few people Lucas had his eye on to direct it. I think his original choice was Steven Spielberg, but because Steven Spielberg was in the Directors Guild and Lucas wasn't, and the way he structured the credits, he couldn't hire Spielberg to direct Return of the Jedi. So he also asked David Lynch to direct Return of the Jedi. He flew him up to San Francisco, and he, showed him around, and David Lynch didn't want to do it. So eventually he ended up with Richard Marquand, who I don't really know much about, but he's passed away since. And Irvin Kershner, I believe he's dead too. I believe. Anyways, and then there's some scripts I bought just for my own reading, but I don't know. Like I say, I have tons of books, and I don't know when I'm going to read them. But here's Seven Samurai and Other Screenplays by Akira Kurosawa, with a picture of Toshiro Mifune on the front. So it's got Seven Samurai, which is a long movie, of course. Throne of Blood, which is my personal favorite of Kurosawa's. And I think it's got Ikiru in here as well. Just text, no pictures. So let's see what's next. This is a shooting script for UTurn, which was written by John Ridley. I think he directed some films after this. Oliver Stone directed this film. I know Sasha and some other people that I talked to on YouTube like the movie Falling Down a lot with Michael Douglas. This is sort of the same premise, a guy having bad luck, but I think this works better. I saw a copy of Falling Down in the library, so I'm going to buy it and try to see if I can change my mind about it, maybe. But Falling Down looked too contrived and just, I don't know. Falling Down looked how can I put it? It looked forced. It didn't look natural. He was just getting all this bad luck, and it just didn't seem. It didn't seem natural. It just seemed all these situations were just put up, and there was no thought into his how his day is developing. I don't know. Maybe it is realistic for people, working a day job or something. I don't know. But UTurn, I think, does it better. Of course, the story's a little different. The character is not a businessman, but they're both bad luck tales, and I like this one better. This is a book by Peter Cowie. Peter Cowie's been on some Criterion Disc talking. He's a scholar. I don't know if maybe he's a professor. But this is a book about the making of Apocalypse Now. The Apocalypse Now book. When I showed my screenwriting, my DVDs, I have Apocalypse Now and the redo in a 2-disc set. So I think this handles the redo as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I haven't read this, but okay. So what's next? Let's see. We got Round Up the Usual Suspects: The Making of Casablanca, Bogart, Bergman, and World War II by Algene Harmitz. which looks interesting. The studio system goes to war. The Usual Suspects, directed by Michael Curtiz, who directed the film The Refugee Trail, Play It Sam, selling this movie and selling the war, Controlling Hollywood, classic movie. I haven't read that book, though. This book I have read. It's a pretty interesting book, The Making of Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is regarded as the greatest movie ever made. I'd say it's hard to say what the number one is, and it fluctuates from time to time, with years as they go on. I'd say it's one of the greatest, and I also say, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't see other films of Orson Welles. Like I think Touch of Evil is quite comparable to this one. I think Touch of Evil shouldn't be ignored just because Citizen Kane is regarded as the best film ever made. You shouldn't disregard that. You shouldn't disregard other Orson Welles films like Touch of Evil and just other films he made that maybe they're not as great as Citizen Kane. Maybe they're not as good. I don't know. He's done some very interesting movies. I watched Othello, which is pretty interesting. I've watched some other films of his, and I've yet to watch F for Fake, but I've yet to watch Chimes at Midnight. But like there's a good one on Netflix right now that I mentioned last night, which is The Other Side of the Wind, and there's the making of the movie Other Side of the Wind on Netflix too, called what's it called? They'll Love Me When I'm Dead. Anyways, this is a good book, and this talks about Citizen Kane. Even though it's regarded as one of the greatest films ever made, it didn't have a cheap budget, yes, but he did use a lot of special effects tricks in this film. Matte paintings. Did he use matte paintings? I think playing with the lenses, playing with the what else did he do? Just making things look big without spending tons of money. So he tricked you, and it works beautifully. It's witnessed in the movie. But so I highly recommend this book. You'll see why. And the author is Robert L. Carringer. So, and I think there's some pictures in here. There's some storyboard, the rosebud thing. So anyways, that's Citizen Kane, and this is a pretty good book. So, what's next? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this is a book by Linda N. Edelstein, PhD, The Writer's Guide to Character Traits. I don't know if it looks too interesting to me. It just talks about different types of people and what their traits are, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it one day. Let's see what's next. Let's see. This book's called Cinematography, second edition. This could be a little dated, the technology aspect of it. Chris Malkowitz. But then again, some of these methods might be usable even by today. But some of this stuff is a little dated, probably, I would say. I think this book is definitely dated. Um, Building a home movie studio and getting your films online. Maybe this could be worked today. Maybe you could use this for filmmaking. But look at the cover. I mean, people don't use computers like that anymore. We use flat screens and smaller, thinner. Not, I don't know if it's smaller, thinner keyboards, and but maybe there's some gems you can take from this. But I don't know. I'd have to look in the book. I don't know if I'm gonna rush reading this book. I don't think I will. This is a book my library was getting rid of. I don't know if I can put this in any kind of software or anything like that. I don't know if I. Uh, oh, You Got Shame. Yeah, I'm waiting for the flash sale, John Constantin. Because Criterion on their website they have flash sales, and they usually have them in February and October. And I've been waiting this February, and waiting every single day to see when they drop it, and they just won't. They just didn't drop it this February. They have done it in March. I'm thinking maybe the middle of March it's going to happen. So, anyways, this is Morphing Magic, and Terminator 2 right there. So I have a morphing thing, I think, on my iPhone, but I think my new iPhone won't accommodate it. So yeah, this is probably dated. Elements of Style for Screenwriters. There's a book called Elements of Style for just regular writing. This is applied towards screenwriting, just like I showed my Aristotle's Poetics for screenwriting. Same kind of thing here. So How to Agent Your Agent by Nancy Rainford. Again, some of these things probably maybe don't work these days due to things like the internet. Things keep changing. That's the thing about books. Sometimes you read a book and they'll update things technology wise, or if they talk about history, they'll clarify things better with another edition. Maybe this book is outdated. Marketing and Selling Your Film Around the World, a Guide for Independent Filmmakers by John Dewey, Anika Pham, and Neil Watson. So there is a pretty good book I have called The Movie Marketing Handbook from Michael Weiss by Mark Steven Bosco, I think his name is. And I think some of those methods of selling your movie are pretty interesting. Next up, we have Gaffers, Grips, and Best Boys. From producer, director to gaffer and computer special effects creator. Behind the scenes look at who does what in the making of a motion picture by Eric Tubb. I got to give this a watch. Even though I volunteered on some film shoots, mostly the same guy who does some horror movies. His YouTube channel, scaredstiff.tv.com. Doug Palmatello. I don't know how to say his last name, Palmatello. But I'm in the credit of a few of his movies under Brian Casella, Kysela. So, but anyways, great a gaffer, for example, he makes sure, like with the lights that are used at a location, that they don't blow a fuse, and if you have the lights hooked up in a house that you're shooting a film in, he makes sure that the circuit breaker doesn't blow up. That's his job, what a gaffer does. I don't know what a best boy does. I should know by this time because I've been been liking movies since I was a teenager. Now I'm 46 and I still don't know what a best boy is, I guess. Of course, a grip moves around stuff. But anyways, that should be an interesting read. This is probably just too dated. I just got it because they're getting rid of it at the library. People Make Movies, Theodore Taylor. I think it's a children's book. Uh, yeah, I don't know. No rush for that. Let's see, what's next? Storyboarding 101, a crash course in professional storyboarding by James O'Frioli. Yeah. I have a better book on storyboarding, I think. Maybe this is a good book. I don't know. I haven't read it, I don't think. But there's another book I own that's, I think, a better book on storyboarding. Film Finance and Distribution, the Dictionary of Terms. This must be outdated, by John W. Combs. Because of the internet. Back in like the 90s, like at least the early to mid 90s, maybe even a little bit late 90s, and further back 80s. When you made a movie, you still have distributors today, I guess, but you have more options, you have more control, because like if you wanted your film shown around the country, around the world, whatever, you had to have a distributor, and he could sell you short, make money off of your film, and you'd see nothing, and you'd have to make a second film to really get some traction as far as being a filmmaker goes. It looks like a dictionary in here. So, yeah. Let's see, what do we have next? Here's a few legal books. Clearance and Copyright, Everything the Independent Filmmaker Needs to Know, by Michael C. Donaldson. Again, this might be dated, but who knows? Maybe some things still apply. It says when I'm looking up there, it says one person's watching, but I could be wrong. Maybe people that are watching me see more than one person watching me. I have no idea. And like I said, I know people on the side here have been watching because they have YouTube channels, but I don't know. I've also posted this notice that I was going to be on at this time on Facebook, and maybe some people from Facebook are watching and they don't have YouTube channels, or they don't watch, or they're not watching from their YouTube channel. And so there could be more people watching. I have no idea, but anyways, I'll just keep going. Independent Filmmakers Law and Business Guide, Financing, Shooting, and Distributing Independent and Digital Films, by John M. Garon. So these films, these books might have take more precedence when you're making movies. Otherwise, you just might as well just let them be for a while. Producing for Hollywood, a guide for the independent producer, by Paul Mason and Don Gold. So production, pre-production, producers, and the director, show me the money. Again, this stuff might be a little dated because iPhones, iMovie, Final Cut Pro, Avid, all that stuff is taken over. Directing for Film and Television, by Christopher Lucas. Maybe this is not that fantastic a book. I do have some good books on film directing. I don't know if they're in this box. I think I showed them with my videos before. That I'm going to stream those again. I'm going to show those videos, show those boxes again and stream it. This is Directing Single Camera Drama, You know, I think when you make a movie and you have a low budget, you can only afford probably one camera. If you probably if you were going to shoot like a big explosion or water going down a hallway, maybe you'd have more than one camera, so you'd be sure to grab the shot and not have to do a costly reshoot. So, but probably most of the time, if you're a low budget filmmaker, you're only going to have one camera. I'm trying to save the best till last. We're getting there though. We're getting fairly close to the end now. So let's look at some screenplay books. What I mean by that is script books. Memento and Following by Christopher Nolan. These are the scripts right here. So both the movies I have on DVD. Oh, hey Wolf. Just showing my books again. So I'm Wolf. I'm sort of coming to the tail end. I'm getting there. I'm getting close. Fargo. Joel and Ethan Coen. Some pictures there. This is another screenplay, book with a script in it. Blood Simple, which I have on Criterion as well. Oh, and I should say Michael Deakins. Is that his name? No, Roger Deakins. I'm sorry. He's done the cinematography for a lot of Joel and Ethan Coen's films, the Coen brothers films, and he has a website online to let you know if you ask him a question on that website, he basically is going to answer you. He basically answers anybody who asks a question. Yeah, so if just Google Roger Deakins, and if you want to ask Roger Deakins a question, I think he'll answer it for you. I think I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong in that though. I'm like, I would say 98% out of 100% sure that he answers back. I can't remember my source, but yeah. So if you ask him a question on his website, he's going to answer back. So Fargo, yeah, Blood Simple. Let's see, what should I do now? Okay, so how about this is Masters of Light, Dennis Schaefer and Larry Salvato. Conversations with contemporary cinematographers. And of course, on the cover there, it's got the cinematography for The Conformist. This is a beautiful shot here. It's the Venetian blinds. The woman in the film has a striped dress, and they move the light through the blinds. It's really, if you haven't seen The Conformist, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite films. Maybe it's my favorite Bertolucci, but I do like Last Emperor a lot. Maybe they're neck and neck. Maybe I like them both just as much. But yeah, but Conformist is a great movie. And who are the cinematographers they interview in here? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Nestor Almendros, John Alonzo. I don't know if Sasha's watching, but I think John Alonzo did the cinematography for Scarface with Al Pacino. I think I'm correct on that. John Bailey, Bill Butler. I think Bill Butler did Jaws. Michael Chapman, of course, did Taxi Driver and Raging Bull for Scorsese. Bill Fraker, Conrad Hall. Conrad Hall, of course, did American Beauty. Laszlo Kovacs, who did he? Am I thinking the right one? Easy Rider, I think. Owen Roizman, he did The Exorcist. Yeah, Conformist is fantastic. Um, Vittorio Storaro, one of the greats, did Apocalypse Now. He did, what else did Vittorio Storaro do? Well, did he do? No, no, that was what's his name? Uh, the guy that did Manhattan um, for Godfather. The same guy that did Godfather. He did Woody Allen's Manhattan. Gordon Willis. But Vittorio Storaro. Oh, he did The Conformist. Yeah, he did The Conformist. And I think he did 1900 for Bertolucci as well. Oh, and he did Last Emperor for Bertolucci. Yeah, so um, Mario Tosi, I don't know who that is. Haskell Wexler, he did Medium Cool, of course. Billy Williams. Oh, Gordon Willis was mentioned here. Vilmos Zsigmond, who did Close Encounters, I believe. Okay, so we're reaching the tail end here. We got a few more books to go. Secrets of Film Writing. This is another good screenwriting book I have. This is one of the best screenwriting books I've ever read, I think. I can't remember it awfully well, though, I think. There's another one I have. I guess it's in another box that approaches the screenwriting process through the oh, see you later, Todd. It approaches it through the Rainer Maria Rilke approach. It's like Letters to a Young Poet or something like that, but it's applied towards a screenwriter. And then there's, I think, one called like Zen and Screenwriting or something. When we get to that box, I'll show you those and I'll give you my commentary on that. But I think this is a pretty good book, Secrets of Film Writing by Tom Lazarus. I wish I could remember it better, but anyways, here it is. These next books, I thought my Robert McKee story would be in here, but I guess it's in another box. But and he probably wrote. I'll show that. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to it, when I find it, whenever that is. But like one of the first people to write books on how to write screenplays was a man named Sid Field. He's passed away. I think not too long ago, and this is his first book he wrote called Screenplay. So, he told about the 3-act structure, the antagonist, the protagonist, the plot points, which you see in a lot of screenwriting books these days, but he was like the beginning of that all, of the how to write a screenplay book kind of thing. The thing that happened with this, though, was so people started reading his book, and they submitted their scripts to Hollywood studios, and the Hollywood studios found them kind of cookie cutter and formulaic. So I think Robert McKee's story approaches it a little bit better. And Robert McKee also, if anyone finds this of interest, has a 3-day workshop where he a 3-weekend workshop where he talks about story. So, anyways, I've never attended it, but it's actually it's mentioned it's mentioned in the movie adaptation. So I think Brian Cox plays the Robert McKee role. Then he followed it up with this book, The Screenwriter's Workbook, which is just a little more probably in detail. The first 10 pages, the midpoint, first half, second half, writing act 2, act 3, resolution. So that's Screenwriter's Workbook. I think it asks you to draw out a graph of he did things like write your scenes on index cards, put them on the floor, move them around, and see if you can get something out of it. like maybe one scene would be better towards the end of the movie, or be better towards the beginning of the movie, or you should take that scene out. So yeah. And then let's see what next one. This is the Screenwriters Problem Solver. I think I've read all these Sid Field books. Yeah, this is another book he wrote. I guess helping people out more if they're having trouble writing their screenplay. I think this is Selling a Screenplay: The Screenwriter's Guide to Hollywood: How to Pitch, Sell, and Market Your Screenplay. What they want, who to see, what to do. Of course, it might be a little dated by this point. And then he wrote a book called Four Screenplays, where he studied four particular screenplays, which were Thelma and Louise, Terminator 2, Silence of the Lambs, and and Dances with Wolves. Silence of the Lambs was written, I think, by Ted Talley, if I'm not mistaken, and it's based on a book by Mark Harris, I think, if I'm correct on that. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, Ted Talley. James Cameron, of course, wrote Terminator 2. Kali Khoury wrote Thelma and Louise, and Michael Blake, who also wrote the novel of Dances with the Wolves, I believe, wrote the screenplay as well. So that's talking about them and how they wrote their screenplays. I guess Sasha's not on because I have, in the blink of an eye, he mentioned that last night, and I have it here with me, but I'll show that last. But I don't think he's going to see it because he'd be on by now, I would say. But anyways, second to last book we have here, Future Noir: The Making of Blade Runner. I love this book. I love Blade Runner. It's one of my favorite films. I have if you can't really see it, it's behind the Lawrence of Arabia box set on top there. It's blocked. You can't see it, but it was like I think it was a limited edition Voight-Kampff case with like a box that held the 5 discs of the Blade Runner special edition, and the 5 different cuts. It had the movie's like 2 hours long, well, a little less, but there's 2 documentary discs and a work print disc. But like Dangerous Days, the documentary is like 3.5 hours. So, that's, and it has a mini spinner car. It has, toy car. It has a silver unicorn. It's got storyboards in it. It's got production design. Just beautiful, beautiful box set. And this is great. This book. Ridley Scott there with Rutger Hauer. Just fantastic book. I highly recommend this book. It's written by Paul Salmon, I think his name is. Yes, Paul Salmon. As far as the sequel goes, to 2049, I'm not wild about the sequel. I don't think they should have made it, personally. I fell asleep while I saw it in the theater. I was just tired. My friend took me to see it. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. And Wolf, I've read some of Philip K. Dick's books. Some of his I read a few books of Dick's that were just realistic novels. What I mean by that is that they weren't science fiction. They were set in the present day. Just a few of those, like Humpty Dumpty in Oakland, and I can't remember the title of the other one. I think I read 2 of those, and I read a few of the science fiction ones. I read Android's Dream of Electric Sleep, and I read a few other ones. But anyways, and to finish it off, and how long have we been on here? An hour and 4 minutes. And I said it would take about an hour to be on here. The Man Whose Teeth Were All Exactly. Is that a book by Philip K. Dick, The Man Whose Teeth Were All Exactly the Same? Anyways, this is in the blink of an eye. I have more Walter Murch books. They must be in another box, and it's autographed, I believe, too. Yes. There's Walter Murch's signature, his autograph. Oh, I see it said in um, my message is held for review. I'll yeah, okay. Now you got that comment on there so people can see it. Because it said it being held for review. This is a good book. He's written some really good books, Walter Murch. He wrote one about Cold Mountain. I think I showed that. Wolf, I said that um, uh, I mentioned last night about the videos I did of the boxes of books that I already had shown. I'm going to do those again, I think, live on stream. So everybody be on the lookout. But anyways, he's written some pretty good books, Walter Murch. How to cut films. He did a good one on Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain, I hate the movie, but the behind the scenes stuff is really fantastic. Yeah, so I have another book I think he wrote. I can't remember what it is. A few books of his I have, and I think I showed them, but I'll show them again. So, anyways, I think that about does it. My mouth is getting a little sore. Well, not just I've been talking nonstop. So I have a bottle of water here, but um, yeah, it was too long. Cold Mountain. That's a problem. They should have cut it down more. Sometimes you can sometimes you can get overconfident. You can think, I've edited Apocalypse Now, I've edited Godfather 2, I've done the sound design for George Lucas's first feature. How can I make a bad film at this point? And then he edits Cold Mountain, so but that's a case, I think, even the really greatest filmmakers, screenwriters, editors, whatever, they're, you know, they're they're gonna reach a point where they're gonna make a dud. It just happens. There's very few people that can like hit a hole in one every single time they make a movie. Yeah, I'm getting yeah. My mouth is getting kind of raw. Kind of. I have a bottle of water, but I haven't been drinking it. But maybe I'll do that next time. All right, so I'm gonna go now. Everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the people after the stream is over with watching it. I guess CP was on. I noticed earlier in the stream. Um, so maybe he's still on. Anyways, maybe I'll be on tomorrow. I'm not sure. What I will do though, if I'm on, I'll put a video on my YouTube channel announcing that I'll be on tomorrow. If not, maybe not. And as far as films, I usually do every week. I do films I've seen during the week. I've only watched one movie, I think, during this whole week, which is Horror Noir, which is about African Americans in horror cinema. And it was shown on. It was a documentary. It was shown on Shudder. Shudder, I can only get on my computer. I have to have a what do you call that? Um, a Roku box in order to watch it off of my TV back there. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why. Well, who knows why I did or didn't watch more movies, but I guess I didn't. So, anyways, maybe I might hold off on a weekly review this week. Maybe I'll watch a movie tonight. Maybe I'll watch one tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll wait till next week to do a week in review, which will be like technically 2 weeks, even though I've only seen like one film this whole week. So my voice is getting to me. So, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye. Bye now.